Hi there guys, good evening. Just a quick short video on mounting the motor box onto the actual Slick 67-inch Pilot RC kit. What I've done, basically here you've got some bolts here. They're actually 3mm bolts, and I've mixed some epoxy, as you can see, all around here. So the motor box has got little lugs here. You can see these little lugs, they line up. So what I'm going to do is just quickly stick this motor box in place and start tightening the screws up. I'll start by pressing the lugs at the bottom and start to tighten up the Allen key bolts. I'm using a there we go, started to go in. I am using a let's have a look, 2.5mm Allen key drive. I'll put the washer in at the back, and then what I will do is put these little nuts at the back of it. I've got to do it fairly quick before the epoxy starts to go off. That's one nut has gone in, and I will do the same at the bottom. Okay, so the motor box is in at the bottom. I'm just going to put a washer in place. The tricky little buggers these are, keeps falling out of my fingers. But once you start getting them in place, that one's gone in, and I would just need a nut, another nut like so, to the bottom of here. What I've got to do is just get it kind of finger tight, and then I will use a spanner to it. Okay, and then top one, the top is easier to work with, simply because you haven't got to reach down to the bottom to get the nut in place. And this is the motor box to take the electric whoops, just fell out. That one's gone in. Now the last one. I guess the last one's always going to be the tricky one, whatever you do in life, because everything always goes smooth until you hit the last one. That's when you totally get frustrated because it hasn't gone in as well as the others. but we're on form here. Got a spanner for the nut. Here's 5.5mm spanner for the nut. So I'm just going to quickly tighten this motor box up. Doesn't need to be mega tight because obviously the lock nut is in place and the glue is in place, so it'll hold. Even if you're doing a really aggressive crankshaft, I guarantee this motor box will not come off, and the motor will not come away from the motor box because it's all going to be mounted correctly. Okay, that's that one gone in. So this is the third bolt. As long as I can get the motor box mounted in before the epoxy starts to set, you can actually see the epoxy as I'm tightening it. The epoxy is squeezing out the top, so I know I'm using enough epoxy on the job, and I am on the last nut. Okay. Give it a last tight on the third nut. You don't want to tighten them too much so it end up crushing the wood, but then again you don't want it not tight enough that it will shake and vibrate itself to bits. So it's a very fine art. As you can see, if your wood is start to crush, then you know it's either too tight or it's literally tight enough. It can go one way or the other. So I am happy with this. Everything's tightened up, as you can see. There, your motor box is in place, tightened up. A little bit of epoxy started to squeeze over from the top, so I know I haven't used too much epoxy. I also know I haven't used too little. And again, epoxy started to squeeze out the side of it. Now guys, just make a quick note, if you do have one of these, just a very useful tip. As you can see, these sides, they've got the cross here. You push on it You squeeze on it. Can you see it flexing? Same on the other side. There, if you press on it, it flexes. And the top too. So how I normally fix the problem is use a very thin sheet of carbon fiber, which is this stuff, 0.5 mil, just half a mil. Cut it to shape. So I'm just gonna spin the thing around here. So I will cut it to shape, to the top and also to the bottom, and then the whole thing will slide in at the back. And what I will do to keep the weight down, I will just use Sino across the X there and round the edges and press that on tight. Then you've got your carbon fiber plate on all the boxes. So then that way it's not going to flex. Nothing is going to flex, and it's very strong and light. Okay guys, and obviously the motor will bolt straight onto the motor box just there, as you can see guys. Right, okay, just going to show you this. There are 4 holes. It's marked out for the motor. Bang, in there. And that's as simple as that. But before you fit the motor in, you do have to loosen these little nuts here. There are 4. Then you take the back plate off, fit the back plate onto the motor box, and then put the motor back onto the back plate. Again, I will show you a video of that once it's once I'm ready for it. The build itself is very simple. I've stuck the tailpiece on already, as you can see. This is the deflection I've got on it. Basically I put epoxy through here at the top, the bottom, and same on the other side, and it's nice and neat. You don't see anything. And then I hinge the tailplane together, and that's it. That is the build so far for the time being. Meanwhile, back at the ranch guys, I'm going to have to say goodnight because it's getting fairly late, and I hope this video has brought some sort of helpful tips to you guys how to mount the motor box. Certainly the bolt I've used on the motor box is only 3 mil. You don't need to use anything bigger than 3 mil. You will actually get away with 2.5 mil if you wish, but always bolt it and put epoxy in place. You can use a slow setting epoxy 30 minutes so you can work with the nuts and bolts. And it's in now. Tomorrow I will mount the motor in, and I will do another video. But thanks very much for watching my channel guys. This build video, I'm not going to do a complete massive build video that it's going to be like 45 minutes long. I'm just going to do it in stages, maybe 10-15 minutes long. Then you guys can pick out what you need to watch, and you know, who wants to watch me mixing epoxy up and spreading it onto the bit that it needs gluing. Nobody wants to waste time like that. So I kind of like pre-mix the epoxy up and pre-apply the epoxy onto the part, and then it's quicker for me to do the video. We all know how to mix epoxy up, so it's not fun and it's not enjoyable. It's quite boring. watching someone mixing epoxy just to shove it in the hinge holes and put the hinges in. So I'd rather do it pre to that, and then let you guys know how I'm actually finishing the assembling, instead of a massive build of 45 minutes. So if I do it in stages, you can pick out what you need to see. So there we are, guys, and thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video, and hope it's been helpful, and I'll catch you guys sometimes. If you like what I do, again, please don't forget to give me the thumbs up and give me the motivation. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, and you'll get further notice and future videos to come. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're absolutely shite. even I can say that, but they are getting better. So speak to you guys soon, and I'll say good night, safe flying. Good night, guys.